Everybody, it's Judi Glova, and welcome to day one of the Burnout Solution series. I have collected some of the best experts for you to teach you about how to have your own burnout solution. I'm so excited because today is all about awareness, knowing your strengths and burnout blind spots, whether it's in business, it's a mental strength, a physical strength, or on the spiritual level, so that you can go from the habits that are holding you back to behaviors that really propel you forward. And I want to remind you that we are meeting every day throughout this online series in our Facebook group called the More Than Enough Women's Circle. I'll be live this evening to answer any questions and to support you, because I really want to make sure that you can take action on the tools and skills that you've learned each day. So if you haven't already, head on over to the More Than Enough Women's Circle. Now, before we kick things off, I want to introduce you to our expert, Holly Perkins, and give you a little bit of her background. Holly Perkins is a certified strength and conditioning specialist with a Bachelor of Science degree in exercise physiology and nutrition. She's the author of Lift to Get Lean and the leader of Women's Strength Nation. Holly is a contributing writer and expert for women's health, self, fitness, shape, prevention, men's health, and live strong. Holly's mission is to empower women on a personal and spiritual level by leading them into the weight room on a journey of physical strength. So before we get started, I want to note that the focus of our conversation today is strength training for optimal energy and vitality. And Holly, I just want to welcome you. So Holly, I'd really love to welcome you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so I want to actually kick off with one broad question, which is, why do you think that there's so much burnout and overwhelm today with women in business?
It's a complicated matter, and from my perspective in the fitness and science field, there's two aspects to burnout in general, and specifically when we're talking about the adrenal glands, which are our master gland that really manages our stress level and this concept around burnout. But there's two angles to it. Number one is the biological, physiological burnout that occurs. This is when we're talking about just the physical. Your body is physically tired and stressed out. The other half of the equation is the emotional aspect to our busy lives and to burnout. And we know that the adrenal glands are particularly sensitive to both kinds of stress. They're sensitive to emotional stress just as much as they are physical stress. So when we look at the biological implications of it, it makes a lot of sense that women are going to be battling this a bit more than men, because we are more emotional creatures. Even if you are a high-powered, boss babe, badass entrepreneur woman who is able to survive in her masculine, even if you're that girl, you're still a woman. And being a woman means that we've got a more profound emotional life in all of our dealings. And that presents a challenge to your adrenal glands on top of all of the things that we do as women beyond running a business. Especially so many women have families, they have children, or they have significant others. And as the female role in the household, it really is up to you to keep the household running and keep your business running. And then if you have pets or children, it's a lot to put on any one human being.
Right.
So I think it's a complicated system, but it makes perfect sense why in my practice, I'm dealing with this on a regular basis with my private clients, because there is just so much exhaustion amongst all of us.
Right. And Holly, I think you did an amazing job of explaining such a complex thing, and you really zeroed in on that one thing, like, our adrenal system and how it's impacted by not only physical exhaustion, but the emotional part. And I love how you explained it, because you made it so simple to understand and easy to understand. And, again, I named this program the Burnout Solution Series, and I have to say, I'm also a student, right? So I'm constantly learning, and you've just taught me something that is so important for me to remember, that, yeah, my adrenal system is being impacted both ways, and all the demands that are in my life are obviously pulling on those resources, right? My internal physical resources. So I also want to focus on the fact that, we have this fatigue, and we have the fatigue. And I know with your strength training, there's an aspect of how we can build our strength. So can we talk a little bit about fatigue and strength training and how those two fit together? Because I'm not sure I totally understand how they fit together.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think for a lot of people, they don't see the correlation between symptoms of burnout, exhaustion, adrenal fatigue, and specifically strength training. So I've been in the fitness industry for 25 years. I have a degree in exercise physiology. So I do talk about all things fitness and all things activity, okay? But more specifically, I really do look at the power of strength training for women, because we know through research now it is a powerful tool in all aspects of our health. It's directly applicable to this conversation around adrenals and managing stress, because we know several things about strength training. Number one, specifically for women, if you are strength training effectively, you are optimizing all of your hormones, and that includes all of the adrenal hormones that happen. Strength training has been proven by science. This is not my opinion. We have proven it over and over and over in medical communities that strength training specifically optimizes our best hormonal cascade. And so what that does is that enlivens you. It gives you better energy. It improves all of your brain neurotransmitters, all of your secondary sex hormones. It helps to improve how the adrenals manage cortisol. So exercise in general is good, but strength training is like the next level in terms of really supporting your adrenal system and your stress level in general. I always coach my clients to think of strength training as plugging into the recharge battery. And when you are effectively strength training and exercising in general effectively, you are recharging the adrenal gland, provided you're doing it appropriately. Now, a lot of women are not doing it appropriately, and that's one of the reasons why this is a common conversation in my community. A lot of women think, but I'm so exhausted, I'm so burnt out, how could physical exertion improve this? And the truth is, part of why you're burnt out is because you're not exercising appropriately. We know that exercise is like an adaptogenic herb. It's like taking a pill that actually helps your body function better. And so provided you're doing the right amount at the right intensity and the right modes of exercise, it actually is going to improve your biological energy. And that decreases the load on the adrenal glands.
Wow. Well, again, this is something that I so need to hear right now, because I do make time for my cardio, right? Every morning, I mean, I'm lucky I have this amazing little puppy who loves to run with me in the morning. So I definitely make sure that I fill my cup first. And, definitely cardio also helps me kind of break out of some of the stress, right? It helps clear my head and all that kind of stuff. But now what you're talking about is doing, the other side that I kind of neglect. And you're right. I mean, if it's really going to be being able to plug in, I love that visual of plugging into the recharge, or, the recharge battery, of being able to build that within our system. I mean, gosh, that makes the most sense. It's almost like really clear common sense kind of stuff. So if you were to, tell me, and again, I like to think in terms of little tiny steps, and again, to be effective, but what's one tiny thing that women can do in order to, if I really wanted to make a positive improvement, just a little one, what would you say a first step would be?
The first step would be to look at your week realistically in terms of your physical activity. Number one, are you exercising every week? If you're not, That's the first step, is to make a plan to do it. If you already are exercising, the first step is to take an assessment of the kinds of exercise that you're doing each week. So a lot of people think that all exercise is good exercise, and it could be Pilates, it could be spinning, it could be yoga, it could be running with your puppy, it could be anything. But the truth is, there are different modalities of exercise. And so you want to look at what you're doing in a given week, and you want to curate it to make sure that you're getting some effective cardio, some restoration like yoga, and then some strength training. In my experience, and again, everything I share is backed by research, strength training has to be in the mix. It has to be. If you have no idea where to begin, yoga is a good place to start. Pilates is a good place to start, but spinning is not strength training. Running is not strength training. Right. Elliptical is not strength training.
Right.
So it's got to be in your week in order for you to feel the best. It just has to. Again, it's not my opinion. We know this. So the first thing is to just assess, what does your week look like? If you're not exercising, let's begin. If you are exercising, look at the kinds of workouts that you're doing and make sure that you're including some strength training. A client that I'm working with right now is a really high level executive, and she would get up in the morning and on an empty stomach go to a really high intensity spinning class 3 times a week. And she felt that that was like a big, huge green check mark on the success level, until I said, well, we're missing a lot of different considerations around your fitness. So we pulled out some of those spinning classes and we put in some strength training workouts. And within 2 weeks, she's already feeling so much better.
Wow. That is, I love hearing those real life examples too, because because so many of us can probably identify with, taking a spin class, taking a dance, some kind of a dance exercise class or something in a group that, we think, we're checking the box, but really it's the mix. It's being able to make sure that we have the right mix of what we're doing so that we're giving ourselves the optimal health. So that really has helped me understand. So in terms of other things, in terms of stamina, so does strength training actually help me with stamina? Because I thought cardio was more about stamina. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So a lot of people, when we talk about the human body and we talk about the skeleton, a lot of people kind of visualize like a Halloween skeleton, right? A collection of bones held together. And a lot of people think that it's that skeleton, those hard bones that are holding you up in space against gravity. That's actually not true. It's your muscles are contracting against the force of gravity to hold your bones in place. And those muscles, if you're not strengthening them, inevitably they get weakened. That's just how it goes. We live in a law and a world of physics and gravity. So by strengthening your muscles, you're empowering, almost like an elastic cord, your body's ability to hold yourself up in space and to keep you moving in space. And if you're not proactively strengthening your muscles, they are actually weakening over time because of a process called sarcopenia, which is a medical condition that we are losing muscle mass every single year simply by the aging process. Even, I strength train like vigorously 3 times a week, and I am still losing muscle mass every single year simply because of the aging process. So if you're not strength training, you're losing muscle. And if you can just visualize, those muscles are what hold you at your desk. They get you from your house to your car. They help you carry your children. They help you carry your groceries. And if those muscles aren't strong, if you can just visualize sort of a slump, and that is a big contribution to lack of stamina and energy during the day. So if you did nothing else, but you just started some strength training, you're going to see massive improvements in your stamina. So I too, just as you said, I'm a student of our conversation. And if I did not strength train, I would not be able to survive my life. I see a huge shift when I am really hitting my strength training workouts right, my energy throughout the whole day is radically different. And again, I just really want to underscore, I'm a bona fide expert in what I do, but everything that I'm sharing is not my opinion. This is all medical fact. Every single day I'm looking at research articles that come out. So even though it doesn't make a lot of sense, we know that this is, proven science.
Right. Well, and again, I love the way you explain it, because it becomes so easy to understand of like, yeah, if our muscles are doing so much work during the day to keep our bodies in place, right? And we're, we have activities, and a lot of our lifestyle is kind of sedentary. It's possible that, we're spending and leaking so much energy by not building our muscles, right? Because the ones that we have to work so hard, right? So then by the end of the day, it's just like they're so drained. They're weak, they're drained, and then we expect them to perform even more, because as busy women, we think that we can do it all, and we think that we can just keep going and going. So
yeah.
I really appreciate you being able to explain that to us, because it is really important. So if you were to think about, if there was one thing that you could share with women that you really want, especially busy business women that could be, handling burnout or overwhelm, have a lot of stress in their lives, what's one thing that you would want them to walk away with?
I think the most important concept that I find is so powerful for myself and for my clients is we as women tend to put ourselves last, whether it's our work is first, or our romantic partner is first, or our children, or our family, sisters, mothers, etc. I was having a conversation this morning with my very, very best friend, and she struggles a lot with being selfish. And she is the least selfish person I know. And I think we are particularly sensitive to this concept of being selfish. So we almost compensate by being overly selfless. And that is a recipe for burnout, no matter what your business, what your lifestyle, and what your heart is. And I think the most important thing is, just like that analogy when we talk about if you are on an airplane and it is going down, you put the gas mask on yourself first, and then you help others around you. I think that is a powerful visual that on some level, you have to be looking out for you in many ways first. Because if you crash, if you get sick, if you face heart disease, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. And so there is this balance and this dance of taking care of everything else and then figuring out the really intelligent ways to also take care of us so that we don't burn out. And we all have different needs and levels. I happen to be somebody who needs a lot of self-care. It's a little alarming how much self-care I need. And I resist it all the time. And every time I resist it, I end up in a phase of burnout. And as soon as I go back to my practices of how do I need to take care of me so that I can be better for you in this moment right now, that is one of the best ways you can relieve your adrenals of so much stress so that you're better for yourself and better for everyone.
Wow. Well, I want to emphasize, you probably gave me another like 3 or 4 golden nuggets of information there, because when you're talking about having those daily practices and how important they are, it's like having little things that we do that we're consistent on. It's being consistent that's so important, and putting ourselves first. And I agree with you. I mean, I probably hear more often than not, whether it's from my clients or my friends or family, it's like, how do we put ourselves first? It is that conversation, because we just tend to want to help others, and it's others people's needs and wants that come before us. But you're right. If we're the one that's going to crash, we want to prevent that, but we also want to come full circle and think about, how can I support my body the best? And when you were talking about the adrenals too, it's like, that's where our energy comes from, right? I mean, wouldn't that be one of our primary focuses of how we can keep our body really healthy? And if it's the energy that we need to have in order to be our best selves and to be the best businesswoman, mom, spouse, partner, etc. Wouldn't that automatically be a really great first step and most important thing? So Holly, thank you so much. I'm telling you, I just love our conversation and I love how much information you have and you make it so easy to understand. So I really appreciate your knowledge and just being so generous with your time. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And I want to remind everybody to click the link below for Holly's free gift. And if you haven't done so already, you still have that opportunity by midnight tonight to get your bonus backstage pass. And that's at the discount. That's at the early bird special. But after tonight, you're going to have that other price that's a little higher. So the best thing about the backstage pass is that you get access to more bonuses and you also have the opportunity to download all of this great content so you don't have to wait. You don't have to worry that you're going to miss anything great, and you'll have access to it on your phone, in your computer, and it's something that you can save so that when you really, really need it, it's right there at your fingertips. So I look forward to seeing you tonight in the Facebook group to answer any questions that you have and to be able to support you. But I also look forward to seeing you at the next amazing video. So I'll see you then.